Welcome to Pulse episode 40. Yes, 2011, a new year, and there have been a few changes around here for this episode. Sadly, I don't have access to my camera this week, so I decided to do things a little differently. I hope you all like it. In this week's Starcraft news, we look at, once again, patch 1.2's release date, the GSL in the new year, a bunch of major tournament announcements, and a couple of rather entertaining YouTube videos and images. In the Diablo news, Bashiok is in the spotlight. Blizzard has revealed that there are some secret systems that we have yet to be introduced to in Diablo 3, and we see some Ninja Arena gameplay footage. Lastly, in World of Warcraft news, we have a look at the different ways to travel around Azeroth. Many fixes and changes that are either planned or already applied, a couple of smalls, and some World of Warcraft movie hype. So, if you're interested in any of that and a lot more, stick around. To start the Starcraft news off this week, I just wanted to give everyone a bit of a heads up. Blizzard confirmed that they've been doing more fixes and testing on an internal PTR, and that Starcraft 2 patch 1.2 is expected to hit the live servers next week, if all goes well. That is really good news, so if you want to prepare for the changes that are coming, I suggest you give the latest version of the PTR patch notes a quick read, which you can see on your screen right now, along with the official announcement of the patch's supposed release. It's a new year and the next season of the global Starcraft 2 League has begun. As I keep mentioning, this one's going to work a little differently. This is the first GSL sponsorship league, so yes, the players at the top get paid to just play the game in the GSL. Team Liquid has, as usual, set up a post covering it all, and I really mean all of it. Believe it or not, a lot of people still don't know exactly how the GSL works, and, well, I won't blame them for that. Code S, Code A, up and down. Those are the types of matches we're going to be seeing throughout this maiden sponsorship league of the GSL. So if you're one of the large number of people that may not quite be 100% absolutely sure as to how it works this year, you can check the post out that I linked below, detailing pretty much all of it. It covers the way the tournament works, all the teams participating, it even has a look at the groups, and takes a pretty in-depth look at most of the players. The GSL playdays are flying by fast, and we've been treated with even more high-quality play. There have been some amazing games, but there have also been quite a few upsets. Let's have a look at how our favorite Code A and Code S players are doing. There's an amazing thread up on the Team Liquid forums that was put together by a user named Motbob, and, well, look no further for your GSL results. In the Code A, big names such as I Am Janwi, Alive For You, OGS Top, SC For You, and Loner have made it through to the next round. Well-known players that failed to advance in the Code A include Tankboy Prime, ST Ace, and Liquid Ret. Players that have advanced to the next round in the Code S are I Am Nesty, Best of For You, I Am MVP, OGS Zenio, Slayer's Boxer, OGS Hyperdub, Choya For You, and finally TSL SSKS. The Code S has not been without upset though. The following big names failed to progress: Pult and Maka Prime, The Fruit Dealer, who lost to I Am MVP and OGS Zenio, Hongang Prime, OGS The Wind, Kirix Zenith, and TSL Rain. There are, at the time of recording this, no doubt more matches that have been completed, so as I mentioned, if you check the post linked below, you'll get a much clearer picture of what's going on right now. It's really well put together and gives all the right information, so keep checking back here for more GSL updates. In another small piece of GSL related news, it seems like GomTV is gearing up to host a global Starcraft Team League, GSTL for short. They announced back in December that in 2011 the GSTL will take place in February, right after the GSL Season 4, or the first GSL Sponsorship League as it's called. 8 teams will compete for a pretty large prize pool. Teams are to be chosen based on all the points of their current players in the GSL Code A and Code S. It sounds like fun, and it'll be great to see which teams come out on top there, not just the individual players. Read more about all of that below. Team Liquid has announced their 3rd season of the Team Liquid Star League, this time for Starcraft 2. The event itself will have, for the first time ever, an offline final at the Team Liquid headquarters in New York City. A few things you might want to know about the TSL 3, other than the fact that I absolutely can't wait for it to start up. The tournament's main sponsor is PokerStrategy.com. The seeded players are the top 3 from the TSL 2, Tyler, Mondragon, and Sen. The first prize is a whopping 15,000 US dollars. There is in fact an open qualification process which is set to kick off on the 8th of January, and there are quite a few invite spots open for Starcraft 2's pros from Korea. Lastly, Team Liquid will also be announcing details about how to enter the TSL 3 raffle soon. They're going to be sending 2 lucky players to South Korea for the GSL Sponsorship League Season 1's finals and a tour of the OGS Liquid House. That does indeed sound like a prize I'd like to win, so if you want to read more about the Team Liquid Star League 3, you know exactly where to look. Sticking with the Liquid tournament news for a second here, the TeamSpeak Team Liquid StarCraft 2 Open number 8 is set to kick off on the 8th of January. This tournament is a little more special than usual though, as it is actually doubling as the first qualifier for the PokerStrategy.com TSL 3, which I just spoke about. This one's happening on the EU server, and you'll be able to find all the details you'd ever need on your screen right now or in the links below. Yet another big tournament reveal, the Reddit StarCraft 2 Invitational has been announced. The SCRI for short is a tournament designed to pit the Reddit StarCraft 2 site's best players against some of the best players that the StarCraft 2 professional scene has to offer. In the main event, 8 Redditors who made it through the qualifiers and 8 invited pro gamers will compete for a pretty large prize pool. The event will also feature some of the biggest name commentators and or casters out there, such as Day9, Total Biscuit, Diggity, In Control and DJ Wheat. The group stages for this tournament are starting on the 8th of January and the finals are set to take place the day thereafter. It sounds like a blast and I absolutely can't wait to see how the Redditors fare against the pro gamers. So if you want to read more about that, check on your screen right now or just check the links below. Team Liquid have some pretty in-depth coverage of the Brood Wars Star League up. As I always say, I don't know much about what's going on in the Starcraft Brood Wars scene, but I will say this, I know who Flash and Jaedong are. In what was certainly one of their worst Christmases ever, Flash and Jaedong were both eliminated from the Star League in the round of 16. The 2 biggest names in Brood War are out. Well, there must be some pretty amazing players participating in this season. So you can read the full story below. All the drama, tears and heartache is beautifully summarized by Team Liquid for our reading pleasure. Yes indeed, the top 200 player lists have been updated once again. Below you can find the links to the Korean, European, North American and Southeast Asian lists. So in the hopes of keeping this show a little bit shorter, I've summarized and listed some of the smaller pieces of community news. The pieces I feel are slightly more newsworthy will be fully detailed, so you can find that list on the screen right now and you'll be able to find those in the links below too. As usual, the GSL news, drama and controversy doesn't end with the results. In what some are calling a shocking turn of events, it seems like Tasteless is no longer the observer for the English GSL stream. Oh my, yes, for all those that didn't know, at the start of the new GSL season, Tastosis made an announcement that Tasteless will no longer be observing the GSL games. The guys from GOM.TV have hired an entirely new observer to fill that role. There's been quite a lot of speculation as to whether this is a good idea or not. It seems like quite a few people would prefer Tasteless to be doing it. Why? Well, it seems like the new guy is missing quite a lot of the action and, well, often there are just little things that Tasteless and or Artosis are either talking about or want to point out that just get lost in translation, never showing up on our streams. Oh well, I can imagine that Tasteless was in over his head with the commentating and observing, so this is probably for the best. In our last bit of GSL or GOM.TV related goodness, we have a misunderstood fan that in fact only wanted to offer to help out with the interview translations at the GSL, but ended up just saying it all wrong. He said that he could do John the translator's job better than John himself does it. By accident, of course. So, Tasteless mentioned this on the live stream and, well, our misunderstood fan got a little too much attention. He proceeded to type a letter to everyone watching the GSL, Tasteless, and John himself, conveying how sorry he was and how wrong he was to do it the way he did. There was more done and said, but if you want to read this tale about heartache, misunderstandings, and interview translations, I guess you can check the full thing out below. The 21st Liquid Weekly is out, and as usual, it's packed full of Team Liquid goodness. While this edition is mostly just GSL news, there's a really lengthy The Little One interview along with some pictures of his play space. They also spotlight Blamos and his daughter Stargirl from over at the Noobcast on YouTube, and give us even more Jinro replays with 2 all-new Jinro wallpapers to enjoy. A pretty interesting weekly with more than enough to keep us happily reading and watching for quite some time. One of the bigger pieces of player and clan news this week is that EG bought De Muslim out of his running contract with MTW in order to add him to their already impressive Starcraft 2 lineup. EG already currently homes several stars of the RTS scene such as Starcraft 2 bad boy Idra, Warcraft 3 legend Grubby, and many others. De Muslim released an official statement about the transfer in which he basically just said he was thrilled to be part of EG and glad that the guys from MTW took it so well and supported him throughout. You can read the full details about the transfer below, along with De Muslim's full statement. A Gosu Gamers sponsored Starcraft 2 team? Yes, you heard it right, it's official. Gosu Gamers is proud to announce their first 2 hand-picked members of Team Gosu Gamers. Zepux and Naugrim. Apparently both these players represent the true Gosu gamer who has a superior gaming technique, good manners and sportsmanship. So good luck to Gosu Gamers and their new team in 2011. I look forward to seeing and hearing more from them. In some more good stuff from Gosu Gamers, they've selected their top picks for the best non-Korean Starcraft 2 player of 2010 and they are asking that all of us cast our votes to help them out. There are, as you can imagine, too many good players to choose from. Huck, TLO, QXC, Jinro, and many more are on the list, no doubt longing for your vote. So if you want to check that out, read a bit more about their choices and cast your vote, you can find that below or over at gosugamers.net. Alternatively, you could just check back here on the 14th of January as that's when the polls will be closed and the votes will be tallied. Is 2011 set to be the biggest year for the global esports scene to date? PC World seems to think so, and well, I can't help but agree. All the signs are pointing toward the fact that there are big things to come and our baby Starcraft 2 will be at the heart of it all. PC World have a bunch of interviews up with various big names in the international esports scene. DJ Wheat, Idra, Liquid Nazgul and many others involved with different games being played competitively at the moment. This is really a great read, especially if you're new to the esports scene and want to know what to expect from the coming year. Read the full thing below. The long-awaited book, The Starcraft Bible, has been released and is now available in hard copy and ebook online. The book, which I personally have not checked out just yet, apparently consists of 225 pages of pure Starcraft history spanning over 30 years. I'm not sure exactly what happened with Starcraft 30 years ago, but it's all in there. The writer, Chobopion, recently sat down with Gosu Gamers to reflect on his journey to make this happen. A couple of big names such as Grr and Artosis helped the author out, and I've been told that this book is really something to see. Below you can find a link to the pretty lengthy interview that the author, Chobopion, as I mentioned, had with Gosu Gamers, as well as a link to where you can actually buy the book, so if you want to brush up on that Starcraft history, then I guess this one's for you. As a quick extra, I thought I'd just show you all Nerd Alert's new song. Yes indeed, Kurt and Husky are at it again. This time it's an original song about 2 SCVs that just want to repair one another and keep each other safe. It's a really heartfelt look at the life of an SCV. Their feelings mean something too, you know? So you can check that out over at Husky's channel. It's amazingly well made and some good entertainment. Yet another piece of work involving H to the Husky Husky. Joey Judkins, the guy who did the amazing sketch of Day 9 with the highly attractive Zerg lower body, is back with his next episode of Star Sketch. This time he has Husky in his sights and does a brilliant speed drawing of Husky with the body of none other than Zeratul. Check that out. Okay, the last little extra for all you Starcraft 2 sugar and cake lovers out there. Thanks to the Reddit guys for this extra little piece of eye candy. Get it? Eye candy? Enjoy. The first episode of my new series Mitan Ladder is out. Yes, I couldn't really think of other names, so if you guys want to help me out with that, feel free. This is set to be a series focused on Starcraft 2 gameplay analysis. Every week I'll try to fully dissect one or two of my games on the Starcraft 2 ladder. I'll go over what I did right, what I did wrong, and what I feel I can improve on. I'll try cover it all. The amount that I'll do will depend entirely on what else I have to do. I'm not doing the whole YouTube thing full time just yet, and this weekend I have a competition coming up to shoutcast for pretty much the entire weekend, so please have a little patience and I'll try get more of these out as soon as possible. Anyway, keep in mind that this was in fact my first try and that I have received a lot of input to improve it and make it more fun for all of you to watch. Enjoy. Lastly, in the Starcraft 2 news, on the local side of things, we have the Polar Fluke All-In tournament happening this coming weekend. Yes, indeed, I hope you're all ready. Some of the prizes have been announced and they include R1,000 in cash from mygaming.co.za along with some t-shirts and caps. There will be spot prizes this month too, so just entering could win you something. It sounds worth it to me. As before, you can read the nice little FAQ that I set up that'll tell you everything you need to know about the tournament and where to get your registration in. There are quite a few entries already, and most of the games over this coming weekend will be shoutcasted by yours truly, hopefully along with my man Siege Starcraft. There'll also be a video stream organized by the guys from Polar Fluke, so this is not something you want to miss out on. Okay, so it's finally time for the Diablo news. Let's check that out. The Diablo Twitter account piped up for the first time this year with a pretty interesting, if short, answer to a question regarding the systems in place for Diablo 3. The question and answer to it were as follows. Are there any new systems that haven't been announced yet? Yes or no will suffice. Want to know if I should expect anything? The answer to that was a few. Last year was chock full of information, crafting, artisans, skills and traits, PvP and battle arenas, and much more. It seems like this coming year won't be any different. What could we possibly still have to look forward to though? A trading or auction house system, mercenaries, some extra or interesting way to integrate the lore even more? Who knows, but I can't wait to find out. Bashiok popped up on New Year's Eve to fill out a little fan survey about Diablo 3. While the answers he gave were a little generic, he did stress the point that trying to label Diablo 3 is just not on. The game is being made with absolutely everyone in mind, gamers and non-gamers, casual and hardcore, friends and enemies. It also seems like Bashiok has played all the recently released games, yes, all of them. So I hope you've taken a second to look at that survey, it's pretty entertaining. You thought you had a nice bunch of Diablo merchandise? Perhaps a couple of t-shirts or posters, magazines or figurines? Well, that's all good, but wait till you see this obsessive fan's collection. On the new My Diablo Collection blog, you can find pretty much every single piece of Diablo merchandise and or Diablo themed goods out there. I'm not going to go into full detail about this, but I will give you all a link. Diablo 3 drink coasters, Russian Diablo stamps, yes, it's all there and on display, so check that out. The Diablo Twitter account also answered a few proper questions this week, well, with proper answers. All the questions but one are about the wizard's charged bolt skill, with the lonely last one being about Diablo 3's endgame. By far the most interesting part was that apparently some work has been done on Charged Bolt to make it feel more like it did in Diablo 2. It's great to see they are sticking with what they know and sticking with what the fans no doubt want. They also briefly mentioned that, as with all the other skills in the game, Charged Bolt can be majorly affected and changed by runes. On the topic of endgame, the question was a simple one. When will endgame start in Diablo 3? The answer provided was pretty clear and to the point the second time around. It all depends on your definition of endgame. Max level happens, or is intended to happen, upon your first completion of Hell difficulty. So, wait, that doesn't really tell us when endgame starts. But maybe Hell difficulty counts as endgame? I really don't care when or where endgame happens. I will leave it all to Blizzard to sort out. I have absolute faith in them. I just want to play the game already. Lastly, in the Diablo news, you can see quite a huge chunk of ninja gameplay footage that was recorded at BlizzCon earlier in 2010. You see the character selection, a 2-minute God mode practice round, and then the full 15-minute battle. In this video, the red team sports 2 barbarians and a wizard against the blue team's barbarian, witch doctor and wizard. It's pretty interesting and quite nice to see it played by a real person instead of the Blizzard developers. Thanks to Diablo INC Gamers for this discovery, and you can check the full thing out on your screen right now or in the links below. That's it for the Diablo news, let's head on over to the Warcraft news. Azeroth was a large world that has recently, with the addition of flight, become much larger. With all the new zones and changes to the old ones, Blizzard thought it about time to give everyone a bit of a refresher on the more common ways to see the world, meet the creatures and, likely, be killed by them. Yes indeed, mounts, flight masters, boats, zeppelins, portals, and some other slightly more exotic forms of transportation. They're all available to us and covered by 1 if by zeppelin, 2 if by boat. Travel in Azeroth, the new post on the World of Warcraft community sites. So if you're a new player and not quite sure when you can get that ride-in skill, where exactly those boats lead, where to find the right portal, or if you're heading to the right city to catch the zeppelin you want, then I guess this post is for you. Check it out below. Earlier this week, Blizzard revealed details on a new free update for the World of Warcraft mobile armory. The new update brings all the Cataclysm goodness you could ever want to the mobile application. Support for new items, Goblin and Worgen races, and new race class combinations. It also sports a stylish, new and improved look, similar to the recently redone World of Warcraft community sites. There are various other changes and improvements too, so if you're an iPhone, iPod Touch or iPad user and play World of Warcraft, I guess you'd probably want to check this one out. The only criticism is that they still haven't updated the application with support for Android phones, so read the official announcement below. The next 2 sets of hotfixes are here. The January 3rd and January 5th releases give us, once again, quite a few changes and improvements. Biggest amongst the lot, to me at least, would be the following. Heroic Deadmines now has significantly less trash mobs. Ramkarhen now has a functional mailbox, and Tol Barad security has been beefed up a little. Flame Orb and Frostfire Orb no longer break any version of Polymorph. Tailors with 400 skill or higher should now receive additional cloth drops 50% of the time from anything that drops cloth, up from 25. Atramedes' Sonic Breath now properly ignores line of sight, so those guilds that were looking to exploit that little bug are fresh out of luck. Sorry. So if you want to see that full list and read how Blizzard is making your gameplay experience all the better, you can find the full thing below. Enjoy. Yet more fixes. This time around, Blizzard have had a look at the issues related to the Flask and Cauldron creation for guilds. Originally, the achievements to unlock guild cauldrons and other perks required an insane amount of Flask creation, around 10,000 flasks for the Mixmaster achievement and around 25,000 for the Better Leveling Through Chemistry achievement, which awards the Big Cauldron of Battle. These 2 achievement requirements were lowered quite drastically to 1,000 and 3,000 respectively. I think that's a pretty reasonable change, seeing that most guilds didn't seem to get anywhere near getting those achievements just yet. Other than those, the amount of charges per cauldron has been increased to 20 from 17, and the time limit on them is up to 10 from 5 minutes. Blizzard also gave a quick breakdown of how cauldrons work for those that didn't know. That all sounds good, and you can read the full official announcement in the post linked below. Ah, Tol Barad, what a rocky road it's been. Alas, it seems like Blizzard isn't done with you yet. So it seems like after the hotfix that was applied last week that rewarded 1,800 honor to the offensive team if they won, Blizzard has rethought the whole thing and lowered the amount of honor gained. I personally had no idea why they would introduce such a huge honor gain in the first place. If you had been checking my site, you probably would have seen me ranting about the win trading in Tol Barad, or the players doing the little up and down on the bridge exploit. I think Blizzard did go a little overboard with the buff, but as I mentioned, it seems like that has been rectified. So Blizzard has changed the amount of honor gained when the attacking side wins in Tol Barad to 360 honor, down from that ridiculous 1,800. Also, they say that they are working on a fix for that little bridge exploit. To me, that's 100% good news, and whether you agree or not, you can read the full post on your screen right now or in the links below. In the last hotfix related talk, I promise, it seems like Blizzard is working on improving their already pretty impressive Dungeon Finder tool. Zarhim has shared with all of us that they have plans to make the Dungeon Finder take a little bit more into account and be a little more accurate with the groups it sets up. He goes on to say that one flaw in the current system is that if players fail in a pickup group, they aren't told why they failed. People then tend to play the blame game and kick the player they feel is responsible, which is often the healer. Do you think that Blizzard could make instance runs more educational, perhaps? I'm not sure how that would work, but I guess it does sound like a good idea. We'll have to wait and see. Till then, though, I shall leave you with the quotes. The guys and girls from over at INC Gamers have their best games of 2010 lists up, and it seems like Blizzard has, once again, scored big. I know I don't really cover every single award that our beloved games receive, but I do love and respect INC Gamers and all their sites they run, so I find their lists credible. What can I say, seeing World of Warcraft Cataclysm as their chosen top MMO of 2010 and Starcraft 2 Wings of Liberty as their chosen RTS strengthens those beliefs. The runners-up in those categories were Age of Conan, Rise of the Godslayer, and Civilization V, respectively. If you want to read their reasons for picking our favorite games, then I guess you'll just have to head on over to their site. It's a good read and you can find the link below. A little extra for all of you, one of the latest daily Blink pieces. I have to say, these guys are always putting something interesting out there for all of us, be it comedic or just plain cool, worth checking out more often than not. I have traveled the breadth of multiple worlds. I have vanquished the enemies of my people. I have been celebrated by the common folk. I have braved the elements to protect the weak. I have defeated the Scourge and bested the Lich King. And all of these tests, every journey I've taken has prepared me for what is clearly my finest hour. Rescuing bunnies from a fire. Overqualified indeed. Duncan Jones is a British movie director who got a lot of attention in 2009 with his feature film debut, a low-budget sci-fi film called Moon. In a recent interview with BadassDigest.com, Duncan Jones spoke about his love for PC gaming and World of Warcraft. He says he's jealous that Sam Raimi is the planned director of the upcoming World of Warcraft movie, saying that he really believes World of Warcraft could be the launch of computer games as good films. Interesting. I can't say I disagree though. He also mentions that he can't wait for Diablo 3 and played through the entire Starcraft 2 Wings of Liberty campaign. Now that is pretty impressive. You can read the full interview below. Enjoy. To round off this week's World of Warcraft news, I thought I'd just let you all know that Mothgirl Episode 6 is out. In this latest episode, I go through the Blackrock Caverns instance on normal difficulty and give you my thoughts on that and a semi-guide about what's going on in there. Oh, and quite a few rants. So check that out if you've got a couple of minutes. I will try to get the next Mothgirl out sometime over this weekend or shortly after that, so stay tuned for that too. Sadly, that is all I have for you guys this week. I am working hard at improving the show, making it more fun and I guess more interactive to watch. This episode was just an experiment and I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with this way of doing it in the longer run, but I guess time will tell. So let me know what you think about the new look and this way of doing things. The chances are good I will switch back to the old method of doing things next week, but if there's enough votes to keep it this way, who knows. Anyway, do all the good stuff I know you want to do, like it, favorite it, share it, and subscribe. Also, check out my top 5 YouTubers of 2010 video if you haven't already. Lastly, and most importantly, happy Starcrafting and happy 2011.